One of my favorite type of stories in the NFL is a comeback story, a player who was playing great before suffering a major injury to only come back like the player they were before. A perfect example of this is Richard Sherman, who tore his Achilles with the Seattle Seahawks in 2017 before signing with San Francisco in 2018, and while he was solid that year, he really came back in a major way the second year of his Achilles, which is common for this injury. So with San Francisco signing Dallis Flowers, it's pretty hard not to see the similarities. He's 2 years removed from an Achilles injury, and during his 2023 season when he was fully healthy, he was one of the better corners in the league. He earned a PFF grade of 70.6 in coverage, which ranked 23rd among 73 cornerbacks. A big reason Flowers found so much success during his second year in the NFL was his ability to eliminate explosive plays. When you look at his coverage snaps, for instance, only 1.1% led to passes of 15 plus yards, which was the 11th lowest in the NFL that season. As excited as I am for him on the defensive side of the ball, he's also a versatile player, being a special teams ace. In 2022, for instance, he led the entire NFL with 31.1 yards per kickoff return, which earned him PFWA All-Rookie Team honors. On top of that, I think it's pretty notable San Francisco's current assistant head coach in Gus Bradley, who probably is going to take over for Robert Saleh if he does leave, had a direct hand in signing Dallis Flowers out of Pittsburgh State. He was a defensive coordinator for the Colts from 2022 to 2024, so he knows exactly who Flowers is and how he'll be able to contribute in Robert Saleh's defense, which he ran a similar type of defense during his Colts days, even though he used a lot more zone coverage than Robert Saleh and didn't use as many exotic blitzes. So in this video, I want to dive a little bit more deeply into the fourth-year veteran at Dallis Flowers out of Pittsburgh State, go over his strengths, his weaknesses, as well as his career up to this point to really see what San Francisco is getting. Initially, when you're looking at the 27-year-old cornerback, the first thing that stands out to me is just how it looks like he was built in the lab to play the cornerback position at the NFL level. He comes in at 6'1", weighing 196 pounds. He ran his 40-yard dash in 4.43 seconds. And his 10-yard split was an impressive 1.47 seconds, really demonstrating his closing ability. On top of all of that, he has a massive wingspan of 78 inches, which is perfect for disrupting a wide receiver in press coverage or going up and breaking up passes. Jumping a little bit more deeply in his coverage abilities, I loved him in San Francisco's type of defense with Gus Bradley coaching him. During his first year to his second year, you saw a lot of improvements of him reading the quarterback's eyes and then jumping the route, which is really highlighted by him eliminating so many explosive plays during the 2023 season, with only 1.1% of his coverage snaps leading to passes of 15 yards, which was the 11th lowest in the NFL as I was mentioning earlier. Maybe the most impressive part about this to me is Gus Bradley primarily ran a cover 3 zone defense with the Colts, meaning that Flowers had to routinely come up from his deep coverage to break up slants and underneath passes. Tied directly to this ability to read where the quarterback is going is his ability to bait the quarterback into making some errant throws. Initially on this play, for instance, Flowers is going to appear like he's in press man coverage on this wide receiver, but immediately he starts reading CJ Stroud's eyes, and by doing this, he's able to quickly identify CJ Stroud just staring down this tight end going over the middle. So instead of just jumping this route, he does it at the last second, almost causing an interception on the play. Another thing I really like about Flowers is his ability to stay active throughout the play, and because of his athleticism, this often causes him to get back in and break up a pass. Here going against the Rams, for instance, you can see how initially he gives up a little bit of separation to this wide receiver, but because of his closing speed, he's able to go up there and break up this pass. Another thing I really like about his film is how he routinely stays in the hip pocket of the wide receiver. Here going against Puka Nacua, for instance, no matter what he's trying to do, he creates very little separation, and then when he does try to come back hard on this little hook pattern, he's right there to break up this pass. Maybe my favorite part that he showed off on his film though was his improvement from his rookie year to his sophomore campaign, as I was alluding to earlier. Here for instance, he quickly identifies the screen and shoots it without hesitation, causing the loss on the play, and this is something that just routinely pops up on his film. His aggression is exactly what San Francisco loves out of a cornerback, and he plays a similar way as Deommodore Lenoir or Renardo Green. Which brings us to Flowers' run support. Like San Francisco's other corners, he's a willing tackler from his cornerback position, often coming up to stop the back for a pretty minimal gain. Maybe the most important aspect of his game though, coming back from this Achilles injury, is his work ethic and coachability. According to Gus Bradley, he showed off great improvement from the 2022 season to the 2023 season in his understanding of complex coverages and assignments. With that being said, the final strength I want to mention before going on to his weaknesses as well as his career up to this point is the versatility he'll offer San Francisco. He's a true special teams ace, and he could immediately start as their kick returner. As I was mentioning, during the 2022 season, he led the entire NFL in kickoff returns, averaging 31.1 yards a carry. So not only will Robert Saleh be happy about this addition, but San Francisco's special teams coordinator Brant Boyer should also allow him to compete for the kickoff return duties. Now with all those positives being noted, we need to talk about his weaknesses and the reason San Francisco was able to snag him on a one-year deal. With the biggest obviously being his Achilles tear. He sustained that during the 2023 season, and last year during the 2024 season, you could just tell he was a little bit less explosive than he was in years past, so we need to see headed into this season if he is able to fully recover. But as I was mentioning earlier, this surgery is no longer necessarily a career ender, and we've seen players really come back better in year 2 than year 1. Another fair point to mention about Flowers is he's still a pretty raw player. He's only in his 4th year in the NFL, and he's lost an entire year of development due to that Achilles tear as I was mentioning. Which means when you turn on his tape, sometimes you'll see inconsistencies in his coverage technique as well as his aggression he shows off on the field. Sometimes he'll jump a route that he doesn't need to jump and give up a big play. Even with these limitations, we've seen him excel in a similar type of defense Robert Saleh runs, and for this reason, I really wouldn't be surprised to see him being one of the backup cornerbacks on the outside this season. I don't think he's going to transition inside, but he should be able to back up both Renardo Green and Yalmador Lenore. On top of the success he's already had in Gus Bradley's defense at the NFL level, his career up to this point tells a story of a cornerback with a lot of untapped potential, which is why I'm going to dive into it a little bit more deeply now. We were first introduced to Dallis Flowers at Oak Park and River Forest High School in Chicago, Illinois. There he played both basketball and football. He was such a dominant football player, in fact, during the 2023 season, his jersey number 21 was retired, and that became the second player in school history with that honor. After his dominant high school career, Dallis Flowers decided to commit to Grandview University, where he played both basketball and football from 2016 to 2020. During his time at Grandview University, he was named a 2-time All-American selection as both a kick returner and a cornerback. He accounted for 731 all-purpose yards during the 2019 season, and that year he also made 33 tackles and 5 interceptions on defense. The following year in 2020 was cut short due to COVID, but during the 2021 season, he decided to transfer to the Pittsburgh State Gorillas and played and started in all 11 games, registered 21 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 10 passes defense. He also was a kick returner, averaging 33.7 yards a return, and even ran back 2 touchdowns. After this dominant collegiate career, he did decide to enter for the 2022 NFL Draft, and while he went undrafted, mainly due to the level of competition he was facing, he did sign with the Indianapolis Colts, and as a rookie, he made the team during the 2022 season and led the entire league with 31.1 yards a return. Then entering the 2023 season, not only was he the kickoff return specialist, but he was also named the starting cornerback alongside Kenny Moore, and he was dominant right up until his Achilles tear. And while he did return to the Colts for the 2024 season, it was obvious during the first couple of weeks he wasn't as explosive as the previous year. He probably needed one more year to recover, so the Colts cut him in week 5, then he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before most recently signing with San Francisco. So now with him headed into San Francisco this year, I really do expect him to make the 53-man roster, especially when you consider his special teams versatility. But ultimately, these are just my thoughts on San Francisco signing Dallis Flowers, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you could like and subscribe, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.